Hello and welcome to Sage Enterprise Intelligence. In this walkthrough video, we will cover how a typical Sage300 customer will navigate through the various reports and dashboards which are offered by Sage Enterprise Intelligence. We will begin by looking at the first platform of Sage Enterprise Intelligence, or in short SEI, which is the web application. The solution is offered in multiple languages, depending on the user base and the part of the world they are located in, and they will have their own username and password with custom security settings, which will make sure they have access to the right information. With Sage Enterprise Intelligence, users have access to everything they need when it comes to reporting and data analysis while remaining within the same solution. For example, the data models in views gives them access to various out-of-the-box reports, graphs, and visuals. And then there are pre-built dashboards, which the users can use to have a more holistic overview of their operations. There's a report designer section where users can add more aesthetic touches to their reports, and also a section called favorites where they can save the reports they will be using most often. SEI offers Sage300 users with two different sets of templates. The first one is the real-time ERP-specific template, so the various modules such as accounts payables, receivables, finance, sales analysis, project and job costing, purchasing, inventory, and order entry, for example. These are all the modules within Sage300, and they come with various data models and reports which are delivered out of the box. The reports offered with the Sage300 template are also real-time, which means any transactions posted in Sage300 ERP will be reflected into these reports right away. On top of that, users also have access to the Universal Data Model, which uses OLAP cubes. There are many advantages of using Universal Data Model. First one of which is when users have large amounts of data they want to report on. And by large, we mean millions and millions of rows of data. The Universal Data Model helps users to consolidate multiple companies together and help report on them. Secondly, if they have more data sources that they would like to connect to. This could be a CRM software which is based in the cloud, for example, Salesforce, or any other third-party system that they would want to connect to and report on. Then they can use the Universal Data Model, which offers reports for various modules such as finance, where we have industry standard reports like income statement, balance sheet, cash flow reports. There are also reports on AP and AR, which offer historical aging reports. They are reports based on sales, CRM, and inventory as well. So there are hundreds of different reports which are offered with Sage Enterprise Intelligence, thereby giving users a very good starting point when it comes to their reporting and data analysis needs. Now we will go ahead and look at some of the reports in detail. We will begin by looking at the financial reports, and we can go into the data model detailed transaction, and we will open one of the worksheets here. It must be noted that we are connected to a consolidated environment where we have two different companies, SAM Inc. and SAM Ltd. So in the reports, we can see both of these companies together. Each and every worksheet in SEI is based on the principle of groups, pivots, and columns, and the information that we see in the reports would depend on what fields go into these shelves and in what order they are placed in. For example, in the groups shelf, we have four different fields placed one after the other, starting with the company code, which shows us the two different companies, SAM Inc. and SAM Ltd. If we further drill down on one of these companies, let's say SAM Ltd., we can see the next level of detail, which is the fiscal year. Drilling further down on one of the fiscal years, we can see the fiscal periods. Further drilling down on the fiscal periods, we will see the next level of detail, which is the GL account numbers. And then we can further drill down on each one of these account numbers to see the raw level details, such as the journal primary reference, the entry numbers, the transaction dates, and the postings, such as the source currency amount, as mentioned here in the last column. The worksheets offered by SEI are very intuitive since users see exactly what they are going to drill down into by looking at the fields here in the groups, and they can further move these fields around to view the data the way they would like. For example, if we would like the company code followed directly by the GL account numbers, we can pick GL account number and simply swap it with the fiscal year. So that occupies the second place now. And then when we further drill down on SAM Ltd, we will see GL account numbers as the next level of drill down. We can easily remove some of the fields by simply hovering onto them and clicking on the cross button, which leaves us only two columns in this report now. And when it comes to bringing in the new fields into this report, we have a toolbar here on the right hand side. One of the tools is the dimensions and measures, which houses various dimensions such as the account groups, the company code, the fiscal year, fiscal period, GL account numbers, the journal entry details, the segment codes as defined in Sage 300, and then the various measures which provide us the details of the various postings. It is very easy to bring in these fields into the worksheet by selecting one or multiple at the same time, dragging and dropping it, and placing it at the desired location. For example, here we have segment 3 code, which shows us the details of the various regions. We can easily filter on the regions to keep the desired ones by adding them to the filter. And then further, if you would like to see this report by regions, we can simply bring that segment 3 code into the pivot section, which will provide us a very different way of looking at this report. Now we have separate columns created for each one of these regions: northern, southern, eastern, and western. And if we further drill down on that, we can see the postings by regions. This way, SCI gives users the autonomy and the ability to slice and dice on these reports and view them the way they would like. Now let us explore some of the out-of-the-box reports which come with the universal data model for finance. We'll open an income statement report, and while opening the worksheet, users can also take advantage of this neat feature, which is the selection page, where they can easily filter on the dimensions such as fiscal year, chart of accounts, the company codes, and see the desired information by making their selections right here. And as a result, we have an industry standard income statement report, which has various reporting levels, showing us the sales, cost of goods sold, and expenses, with also the calculation on gross margin and net income. The principle remains exactly the same as the last worksheet, where we can drill down on the various levels of details depending on what comes next as the field in the groups. So now we have the account codes for sales and then cost of goods sold, and then we can see the postings of this year and compare them with the ones from the last year. Further, we can drill down on these account codes to see the document numbers, and we can add as many fields as we would like to drill down to any level of detail. The universal data model also offers users hundreds of different KPIs which they can use from the day one. All these KPIs are kept in various catalogs, and we can select the catalog from where we would like to pick a field. For example, actual posting has variance, variance percentage, report posting, posting from the last year. Then we have the measures on the year to date, rolling 12, budget and actual mix, accounts payable, receivable, sales, cost of goods sold, so on and so forth. So let's say if we would like to bring in the rolling 12 postings for this year and the last year together into this report. So we'll make the selection of both of them together, drag and drop them and place them in the columns, since these are the metrics and not the grouping levels. And as a result, we have two new columns added to this worksheet to show us the numbers for the sales and then the various account codes as we further drill down on that. There are also many worksheets and visualizations which are offered for other modules such as sales analysis, where we have access to all these different visualizations which are pre-built and provided out of the box. Project job costing, which has data models on transactions, contracts, projects, categories, and staff. Purchasing, inventory with historical transactions, location details, and many more such visualizations and worksheets which are offered with these modules. But what if a user wants to create a report on their own within SCI? If that would be the case, SCI does offer a very user-friendly interface for helping users to create their own reports. To create a report on their own, users simply need to go to the data model of their choice, let's say sales history in this case, right-click on that, and they have access to this option called New View. By clicking on New View, users can choose from hundreds of visualizations which are provided. These could range from bar charts, line charts, pie charts, maps, which includes Google Maps and also the vector maps for the various countries in the world. Some more advanced charts such as the scatter, combination, financial, polar radar, and also some of the miscellaneous visualizations such as the tree maps, KPIs, sparkline, gauges, so on and so forth. So let's say if you would like to create a quick report on sales analysis. So we'll go into the worksheet, and by doing so, we will have this a neat little feature opening for us where we can give it a quick name, add desired columns into this report, which comes with a drop-down list where we can go and select the columns that we would like to include in the report, or we can simply type in the names as well. For example, if we would like to include the cost, sales, and the profit, and then as a next step, we can now define what will be the various levels of details we would like to drill down on by defining the grouping levels. Here we can add the fiscal year, followed by fiscal period, and then the customer ID, followed by the product code. And by confirming this, we will have a brand new report created for us based on the selections we made. We can also keep the product code in the first place to see all the products lined up here. And let's say if we would further like to sort the data based on the sales so that we see the top 10 products based on the sales amount. For that, we will go into the product code, advanced options, and bring in the sales code to set it on the descending order and show the first 10 products. And as a result of that, we will have the worksheet showing us the sales amount in the descending order, starting from the highest all the way to the lowest and keeping all others in a separate category called others. SCI also offers users the ability to bring out the critical information by using the column formatting. For example, for the column source currency profit, we can set up a quick business rule on the column formatting so that any of the rows which contain the profit amount which is less than 5,000, we can put that in the red color and also choose an icon, and finally hit OK so that this rule is applied on the worksheet and show us the amounts based on the rule that we just defined. Sage Enterprise Intelligence takes the reporting to the next level by offering users with the ability to create the financial budgets and sales forecast within the solution. The Universal Data Model offers the module on financial budgeting and sales forecasting, where users can either create the sales forecast or financial budgets and even bring in the sales forecast into the financial budget worksheets as well. To create a financial budget, for example, users have the choice of whether they would like to create this by month or by quarter, and then they have the ability to define how they would like to create this forecast on their own. To create a new budget, users can define the various dimensions such as the budget name, revision number, the ledger type, and the year, and then they can choose from one of the 5 different budget methods to create their budget. There are also many other options which come along with creating the budget. For example, they can send it for the evaluation to the managers, copy and shift the budget, add lines to the budget. And here is an example of a worksheet on a budget and work. Based on the rules defined to create the budget, users can then come into these worksheets to compare these budgets with the last year numbers per period. And what's interesting about these worksheets is that they allow the data entry, which means users can further go into the different cells and manually change the amounts if needed. For example, if you would like to change this amount of 2,200 to 3,500, we can enter the amount, and finally, which would then not only change the amount itself, but also make the changes at the top level as we roll up on this worksheet. This way, they can manually change the data and maintain that within SCI and save the changes. Besides the various worksheets we have seen so far, SCI also offers the dashboards, which are tailored to Sage300 ERP, and there are various modules it is delivered for example, AP, AR, projects, purchasing, sales, and shipment. And then the Universal Data Model, which also provides many industry standard and role-based dashboards. For example, in finance, we have CFO, cash management, profit and loss, financial performance, and all these dashboards which are delivered out of the box. Let's go ahead and open one of these. These dashboards are extremely powerful as they can bring in the information from various data models as well as data sources. And they also come with industry standard KPIs as we can see here. With the help of the filtering panel on the top, we can easily filter on the data. For example, fiscal period, if that needs to be changed to fiscal period 3, we can apply the changes. Now we see this data specific to the fiscal period 3. We can easily customize these dashboards as well by using the added dashboard option, which gives us the ability to resize these views, delete them, and go back into our data models and views and bring in a worksheet of our choice. So let's say if I would like to embed an income statement report within this dashboard, I can simply drag and drop that in. And as a result, we will have this worksheet embedded right within this dashboard. Another example we can look at is on the sales. In this dashboard, we are looking at a lot of different KPIs again, such as the invoice quantity, cost, margin, and comparing that against the numbers from the last year. There's a vector map here at the bottom, which has various shades of the blue, which changes by the amount of the deal. And we can easily filter on any one of these regions within the map as well to further see all the data on this dashboard particular to that selection. For example, if we filter on California as our state, we'll see all the data changing on this dashboard and showing us the numbers specific to the state of California all across this dashboard. Coming back to the original dashboard, we can also spot the trends. For example, the view which shows us the top 10 product performance this year versus last year, where the blue bars show us the actuals versus the red slots which show us the amounts from the last year. Most of the items seem to be doing well here. However, there are some items which might need some investigation. For example, the high back arm tilter, which has the lowest amount of sales. We can click on the bar representing this product and link this to the existing worksheet within SCI. This will allow us to connect to any worksheet of our choice where we can seek the answers to what is happening with the sales of this product. And as a result, we view this worksheet by product already filtered on the high back arm tilter. We can further drill this down to see the bill to city in which this product is being sold. And to take it a step further, we may also bring in the sales rep name into this worksheet. For that, we will go into the dimensions and measures and pick a sales rep ID and keep it right after the bill to city. Now, when we drill down to the bill to city and further down to the sales rep ID, we'll be able to find out the name of the sales rep. Now, what if you want to get in touch with Bill Basin by showing him this report and see if he needs any help with the sales in his region? For that, SCI offers us many tools on sharing and distribution of these reports. The toolbar has one of the tools called sharing, which comes with various options for us to easily collaborate with our teams. The export feature, for example, allows users to create static copies of this report, whether it's PDF, Excel, CSV, and share them directly with the teams. Or they can send a comment on this report, and by the use of a marker, for example, they can make many annotations, put remarks with a text field, and send it as an email directly from within SCI, where the remarks and the annotations will be sent as an attachment along with the email. Users can do a page setup on these reports and print them directly from within SCI. And most importantly, they can also subscribe to these reports by setting their own schedule. With the help of the scheduler, which is a more advanced way of scheduling and distributing these reports, users can come in and choose the action on how they would like to receive these reports, whether by email or simply saving it on the network drive. Then they can choose what different visualizations, reports, and dashboards they would like to include while sending out or receiving what we call as a reporting pack. They can easily filter on what kind of reports they would like to include in these reporting packs. They can choose the various visualizations, graphs, charts, and dashboards that they would like to include in the reporting pack. Give it a quick name, add a cover page to that, which allows them to add the company logos, dynamic variables, and also a text field to give it a more neat presentation. Add the table of contents, which will list the various reports and visualizations put together in the reporting pack, and send it to the different users as they are set up here in SCI itself. For the non-SCI users, they can also run these reports in static formats and send them directly by providing the emails of those users. And finally, set the schedule on how often they would like to receive these reports. Let's say 9 a.m. every Monday and Wednesday of the week. That's a schedule that we would like to set for ourselves, and hit save. So SCI automates the process of sending out these reports based on the selection. Here's an example of a reporting pack as it will be sent out or received by the users, where we can have a logo of the company on the top, followed by the table of contents, and then a dashboard view with various KPIs listed in there, followed by the various reports such as cash flow, income statement, balance sheet, so on and so forth. With the help of the report designer, users can add more aesthetic touches to these reports, such as adding a title here on the top with various dynamic variables, and then further dividing the report into subsections. For example, sales and COGS, which have their own totals row, and then there can be custom calculations for the gross profit, net income, so on and so forth. Users can also use the feature called reporting tree, where they can set up various filters based on the hierarchy of their company to facilitate the filtering on these reports. For example, for a typical Sage300 customer who may have multiple companies, they can set up a filter on consolidation, and by clicking on that, they will see all the postings of the entire company at large, and they can go into the various regions. These regions might have multiple companies, and by filtering on one of the companies, they can see the postings specific to that particular company. Now, these companies might have multiple sites or departments or cost centers. Then they can set up this hierarchy in a way that they can further go into the levels of the sites or the cost centers or departments to see the postings specific to those details. This way, the SCI users can benefit from the reporting tree feature to easily filter on the data based on their company structure. SCI also offers another platform, which is the Excel add-in, where users can continue to use SCI's advanced analytics within the comfort of Microsoft Excel. Here are some of the sample reports which have been created using SCI's Excel add-in. For example, financial analysis, income statement, trial balance, balance sheet. The SCI add-in gives users access to over 25 different tools which they can use to create reports like these. They can use the data extraction to bring in the different dimensions from the database and then start building the various calculations using the formula wizard. The formula wizard is a very easy to use pick and choose functionality tool where users can pick the data model of their choice, the field that they would like to do the calculation on, and the operation that they would like to do on these fields. And finally, they can select the various filters. For example, fiscal year can be mapped to the cell within the spreadsheet for this to act as a filter while SCI performs the calculation. The other advanced features are the formula drill down, where we can see what all transactions make up for the amounts by filtering them against the respective account codes. So by selecting the amount, we can do the formula drill down. We have the option to select all the fields or very specific that we would like to include in the drill down. And as a result of that, we will have a new spreadsheet created for us, which will filter exactly on the account code and then show us the various transactions. There's another tool called Duplicator, which can be very useful if users would like to create multiple copies of the same reports with the exact same formatting, but spread across various dimensions, which could be different company codes, fiscal periods, cost centers, departments, so on and so forth. Users can create static copies of these reports and share them across the teams, and even use the reporting tree feature, which we just saw in the web application, to easily filter based on the company's hierarchy. With that, we come to the end of this video, and hopefully you have a good idea of the various functionalities and capabilities of Sage Enterprise Intelligence for Sage 300. Thank you and have a great day.